Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Here are 8 things that you should stop doing with your Mac. MacMost is brought to you thanks to a group of more than 500 supporters. Go to MacMost.com/Patreon. There you could read more about it, join us, and get exclusive content. So I've been using Macs for more than 30 years and helping people with their Macs for more than 12. Often when someone is having a problem, it's because they're practicing a technique or doing something that they really should stop doing. So for instance, I hear people having a lot of trouble using printers. They're using cheap InkJet printers. I hate InkJet printers. I find that they only really work well when you first get them using the original ink. And if you stop using them for a little while, the ink kind of dries up and it doesn't work quite right anymore. If you try to save some money on ink and not get manufacturer's ink, the colors don't look great anymore. And I find they break down easily. They're just all sorts of trouble. I'm a big believer in a paperless office and I try to print as little as possible. And if I do need to print, I use a laser printer. Laser printers used to be very expensive and some people still think of them as such. But in fact, they're pretty cheap now. For between $100 or $200 you can get a black and white laser printer, which is probably what most people need just to print out simple documents. But for about $200 you can get a color laser printer as well. And instead of buying ink, you buy toner, and toner is much more consistent. And laser printers just don't seem to break down as often. I've been using the one I have for years and I'll go months without using it. And when I start it up and print something out, it looks just as good as the first day I got it. So my main tip is to try to print out less. If you carry an iPhone with you, then put documents on your iPhone or access them by iCloud instead of carrying a printed copy around. And if you must use printouts, then think about getting a laser printer. Even if you spend a little more money up front, it'll pay for itself in less frustration in years to come. Now, probably one of the most major categories I get asked questions about is email. And email problems often come down to the email provider, not the mail app on your Mac or iPhone or iPad. Email is really all about the server. It's which server you're using. If you're using ISP email, that's the free email you get from AT&T, Verizon, Comcast, whoever your ISP is, that's like the bottom of the barrel. There are all sorts of problems with ISP email, not to mention the fact that if you move and you have a new service, you won't be able to take your email address with you. Instead, go with a big online email provider. The only two that I really can recommend are Apple's email service, iCloud, or use Google's Gmail. Both of these work great. They cut down on the amount of spam you'll get. They're portable to wherever you move to. And they use all the modern email techniques so that things should work a lot smoother. I often get asked questions about bookmarks, and usually they involve somebody that has hundreds or thousands of saved bookmarks. Stop using bookmarks so much. Basically, bookmarks are great if there's a website you need to go to really often, or maybe not so often, like maybe once a month to pay a bill. But don't use bookmarks for a site that you won't be going back to consistently. If it's just an article that you want to read later, use the reading list built into Safari. That way you can go back to it, read it later, and then it goes away. It's not stored permanently, cluttering up your bookmarks. Bookmarks are also handy for security. You could bookmark, say, a banking site and know by using that bookmark you're going to the real site, not some fake site that an email may include. So you should leave your bookmarks as clear as possible. Think of having less than 100 bookmarks as being ideal. Use your reading list for other things, and also trust yourself that you could find something interesting later on. If you see a page that's kind of interesting but you're not sure you may go back to it, don't bookmark it. Trust yourself that later on you could do a similar search and find the same page. Now I know a lot of people don't want to pay Apple a monthly price for iCloud. But then those same people sometimes ask me questions about how they can do something which iCloud is perfect for. iCloud is great for being able to share your files across your devices. It's great for having all of the photos, every photo you've ever taken, in your pocket on your iPhone, or having new pictures you take on your iPhone instantly get into your photos library without having to sync and transfer things. Most people can get by with the 99-cent per month iCloud plan. And even I use only the $3 a month plan, which gives you a ton of data. You pay a premium to use Apple products. You could have a very cheap Windows computer, super cheap Android tablet, and a free Android phone if you really wanted. But we all pay a premium to use Apple products because they work really well. Well, then why miss out on some of the best features just because you don't want to pay 99 cents a month? So this one's really specific, and I've done videos on this before. Stop shutting down your Mac. A typical Mac should never be shut down. You should just put it to sleep or let it go to sleep on its own. When you do this, while it's sleeping, it performs maintenance tasks. If you don't let it sleep, instead shut it down as soon as you're done using it, start it up when you want to start using it again, then it's going to try to perform those maintenance tasks while you're working, slowing you down. And sometimes they can really build up. Things like backup, spotlight indexing and such could really take up a lot of processor time, but they won't bother you if you just let your Mac sleep so it can do this maintenance. And also I find a lot of fear there about updating your Mac, updating to the next minor version or the next major version of the operating system. And I understand this fear. In general, people don't like change. You know how to use everything on your Mac now, and when you update, things change a little bit. But to get the most out of your Mac, I think you really need to embrace change. You need to upgrade to the latest operating system, learn what has changed, use the new features to be able to use your Mac to its fullest. After all, you paid for your Mac, which includes all these upgrades. So if you're not upgrading to the latest operating system, you're not getting your money's worth out of your Mac. Now we all know we should back up, right? But a lot of people procrastinate when setting up a backup. You get your Mac, you think, well, I will maybe next month get myself an external drive and start backing up with Time Machine. And then you wait and wait and wait. Don't procrastinate. If you do not have a Time Machine backup going now, order a hard drive today. Just get a standard USB 3 hard drive. It doesn't have to be super fast. Hook it up to your Mac and start a Time Machine backup. And don't do anything less than the default backup. I know people that only back up their Mac like once a week or once a month. That's a really bad idea. I mean, you do once a month and something goes wrong with your Mac, you could be 1, 2, 3 weeks behind on all of your data, which could be a big disaster. Just use it as it's supposed to be used. Keep it plugged in. Let it do its backup every hour. Hourly backups barely take any time because usually not much has changed over the period of an hour. Now if you have a MacBook and you can't keep it plugged in all the time, just get into a regular routine. Have it plugged in every night, for instance. Or use a network drive so it's automatically doing the backups when you're home connected to your Wi-Fi. At the very least, if you're using a MacBook, consider storing all your files in a cloud service, either iCloud, Dropbox, or something else. Because then at least if something happens to your Mac and you haven't been doing regular backups, you probably have all your files still available to you on the cloud. You won't lose everything. So this last one is kind of tricky. Basically, the thing is I see people who have a problem with their Mac. Don't assume when you have a problem that that's how it's supposed to work. Instead, investigate. Try to find out if there's a better way to do it, or maybe find out if it's supposed to work this way at all. And if not, try to fix the problem or get some help. This is very common, and I think a lot of us, maybe myself included, fall into this trap and assume they can't do something because it just doesn't work that way, when in fact you just need to solve the problem. One example may be thinking that you can't sort files in the Finder or music in the Music app when you just need to figure out that you need to click on the top of the column to sort by that column. Another example may be a system preference that you set when you weren't using that feature much, and now that you are, you find it's not working the way it does for everybody else. You just need to learn more about it, figure out that there's a system preference for that, and change that back, and now you can use that feature. I guess the general tip here is question everything. If something isn't working right, or if something doesn't work like you think it should, then don't assume that's just because it's the way it is. Try to solve the problem and see if you can get it working the way you want. So please take these suggestions to heart. My goal here is to help improve everybody's experience and help you get the most from your Mac. I publish new tutorials every weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out. Then hit the little bell icon to get notifications for each new tutorial.